So that's everything on the software side. Really quick, we're going to do a quick walk around on the machine, and then I'm going to make you run a process. No pressure.
Okay.
Okay, so just basic stuff, your controls on this side. Most of the way through your cook step, it's either 25% of the way through your cook step or 5 minutes, depending on whichever one's shorter. It's going to ask you for your chart, level, and pressure. No, I'm sorry. It's going to ask you for your reference thermometer temperature, your chart temperature, and your level temperature. Your level in the sight glass. You got to make sure it's at a good level. You also, in a steam process, need to check for a visual indicator of steam, make sure it's being flooded. So you would check that little pipe down there, make sure steam's coming out of it. So this is your reference thermometer. This is the supposedly calibrated thermometer that's not flawed in any way. Here's your sight glass for level. So if you'd like, before I leave, I could put some marks on the sight glass to show you, okay, where I need to be. And pretty much what you're going to want to see is during a spray process, you're high enough to be above the steam pipe, low enough to be below your product. On a steam process, you want the amount of condensate to be below your steam pipe. And in a water immersion process, you want to see the water all the way up here. So in a steam process, you want your water to be down here. In a spray process, you want your water to be about here. In a water immersion process, you want your water all the way up here. Sure, I'll just get a Sharpie or what have you. That big pipe, you can see it all the way under the machine right here on the other side. That's the pipe you need to check for your visual indicator of steam. There's a little small tube on it, and there's going to be steam coming out the bottom. So this guy, there should be steam coming out of that. So in a steam process, you'll need to check for steam. And you have your chart right here. So your chart recorder, you just check the temperature, and you check the temperature here. So first value, second value, third value.
That large pipe or larger pipe in the back, is that the same as the bleeders that I have on mine?
So the small pipe tied to that large pipe, that's the bleeder tubing. The big pipe, that's for the process vent valve, which is going to be open during the come-up vent. And then you have one or two other pipes of the same size in the back, and those are on the safety pop-off valves. Right, so you also have your pressure gauge up here, but it's not going to ever ask you to check it for reference. That's just if you need to see, hey, what's the pressure in the machine, you can check right here. You also have one on the storage tank, and it's right here.
When does the pressure valve go off, that relief valve?
That relief valve, so this one pops off at 45 degrees. So, I'm sorry, at 45 PSI. You can't make a recipe with more than 43 PSI in the machine. And this one pops off at 60 PSI. The reason we're replacing that one is it's partially popped off all the time, which hasn't stopped me from testing, but has made my day very loud. So, just a quick run through of the machine. Here's your storage tank. The first thing it will do in a water spray or water immersion process is it will fill this up with water, then blast it with steam. Then when it's ready to run the vessel, it will blast it with pressure. There is no pressure feedback on this tank, so it uses the BPR valve, which is a special kind of pressure relief valve where if it's set to a percentage that shows 30 on the meter on the little gauge, what that's saying is it will hold up to 30 PSI, but anything excess will blow through the valve and blow down the drain or blow out the wall wherever they have it routed. So once it has 30 PSI in this vessel and you click the start process button, there's a connection valve down here, and the connection valve opens and all the water that's in the vessel will flow into the main tank. Once it's hit the level in the main tank that it needs for the process, it'll close that connection valve and start the process. So at that point in a water spray process, it will turn the pump on and begin circulating the water through the loop and blasting it with steam and getting your pressure built up. Now, next thing, I guess, let's open the door and go over loading and unloading real quick. So to open the door, first thing you need to do is open the safety valve, then crank this all the way. There's a silver marker line right here. You crank this all the way until the marker line lines up with the teeth on this collar. All right, so Em, if you walk around and look right here, door safety valve. So first thing, we open this valve, and this is a relief valve. So if there's any pressure or a little bit of water in the vessel, some water will fall out of here. It might spray a little bit. And then you just crank this, unlock it. Am I doing it? I'm doing it. It's very loud, maybe some WD-40 required. And you just crank it until the teeth line up right there. Easy enough. Door swings open. Now to unload cans, or once you've loaded your cans and finished, so you have all your cans loaded in, you have the speed wrench. Oop. And what you do is you clamp the cage all the way. You clamp the cage all the way closed. So once you load all your cans up, you just tighten it clockwise until they're in there firmly. You don't have to really over tighten it because they don't want to move, especially if you filled it up all the way. But if you've only got a few cans in there, you might want to give it a few extra turns. It's a little bit bigger. Close it. And you're ready to shut the door. If you give that to me. Shut the door. Wrong way, as usual.
If you don't have that collar locked,
Right.
every time I will tell you it's not locked.
So you can't turn the safety valve until the collar is at a good position. But so the only sensors we have are the proximity sensor right here, which tells you if the door is closed. And there's a little proximity sensor right here, which tells you if this safety valve is closed. That's all you have on the door as far as feedback is concerned.
Okay.
So pretty much you're going to want to turn it until the gear starts slipping. And then even then you're going to want to slow down, push it, and turn it maybe a half turn more. Because you have to get this thing pretty tight so it'll seat correctly.
Did you say there was a mark here for when it's closed?
Not for when it's closed,
Okay,
for when it's open.
Okay.
If I had 2 marks there, you wouldn't know
It
which
would be
one's the...
confusing, yeah. That's why I was just confused 'cause I didn't see one here.
Maybe if you could find me a gold marker. So you have silver for open, gold for closed. So once you have that all the way locked in, close the door safety. So that proximity sensor is made. This proximity sensor is made. If we check the status, you can see the door closed, door safety is engaged. Those are a little checked off. And we're ready to run a recipe if you'd like to see it. Really quick before I start, so when I shut the machine down, I turned off all the utilities. I hit the e-stop. It disconnected the pump and motor. So this is the 480 disconnect. Then I turn this, open the chart recorder, and I hit pause on the chart recorder. So because it's a new day, I'm going to replace the chart recorder paper. So what you need to do is you need to pull the pin on this until it pops up. You don't have to pull it out all the way, just enough that it pops up. You slide this paper under the teeth, make sure all the tabs are in, and then you slowly rotate it until it's over there's a little plastic pin in here. You need to put the paper in the side the writing is up on. Then once it's done, you push that all the way back in, then you hit chart and it's going to start recording. It will, you can pause a chart by clicking the chart button, but what it will do is it doesn't know if it's already written on a paper. It will just write for a 24-hour period. So if you had some writing all over the paper like this, what it would do is it would keep writing all the way until it wrote over it. So it doesn't know. All right, so e-stop is pulled out. 480 disconnect is turned on. You can see the red light went off. That means we have no more alarms. And I'll walk around and turn, where did I turn the water off? Water's on, water's on, water's on. So air, steam, water, and air. When you turn the steam on, you want to slowly open the valve.
Okay.
If you open it too quickly, what can happen is the steam already in the line will come in contact with the steam that was left over from the last time you ran it.
Okay.
And the last time you ran it, the steam would have turned into water by then. So when the hot steam contacts the water, you can get hammering. It might juggle it back and forth. So you want to slowly crack the steam valve open, let it sit for a minute or two, then open the steam valve all the way. All right, so we're ready to run a process. So you want to come try it?
Sure, you're gonna have to talk me through it.
Sure. So first thing you need to do is go to system overrides. So we're currently in the shutdown state. We need to override to the prepare to process state. Mm-hmm. And you can put your username and password in. Caps doesn't matter. All right. So you can see in the operator actions menu, that blue button, operator entries, appeared. So click the blue button. And we only have one recipe scheduled, so you have to select that. And what you can see now is you can follow this box and follow the yellow. So the box will say enter initial temperature, and the yellow box is highlighted.
And that's what's,
You could say 80 degrees. Typically, this would be the temperature of your product that you're putting in the machine. Because it's ambient temperature, it doesn't matter. So we just say 80 right now. So you can read the box and follow the yellow, and it just says enter username. And then click download. Now you give it a second to wait. And if you read what this says, it just says, great job. It's a little silly. Unit status to go back, and you're ready to start a process. Go for it. So what it's doing right now, it has the come up vent open. So this vent will have opened up, and this little bleeder valve will be opened up, and it's just flooding this chamber with as much steam as it can right now until it hits the temperature in the recipe. If you look down at that pipe, you might see a little bit of water dripping out of it in this step, but in the next step, when the main vent closes and just the bleeder's open, you should see a lot of steam coming out of there. That's supposed to be how it is. It's just a visual indicator of steam, so you could say, okay, I can see there's steam in the machine.
Did it have, I'm gonna type in the numbers?
Yes.
Oh, it did, okay.
Yes. And you can see maybe a little condensate's building up. As soon as it hits 5, it'll open the drain, pulse it open, and that condensate will drain out. So right now, if you look at it, it says the temperature is 195 in the vessel, the set point is 196 degrees, and the steam valve is 60% open.
Okay.
So ready to unload. So first thing, door safety up.
Is this door get hot at all?
It's a little hot. I wouldn't put my hand on it and keep it there.
No, but this is what, plastic now?
No, this is metal. It'll be hottest right here, so don't
Yeah.
touch this ever.
But this is actually for being 200 or whatever. I guess it cooled down too. But
It
still,
did cool down, but
Still not that hot at all.
actually what you'll see is now that it's reached the cooling temperature, it'll start to heat up because all that residual heat in the metal will start to seep back into the temperature probe.
Yeah.
So open that valve, unlock this,
Yeah.
and crank it till it lines up on the mark. Some water will drip out. I was talking to Brian, you might want to, there's a little drain in the drip pan. You might
Oh,
want to
yeah.
pipe this all the way over back to your drain right there.
That works, yeah.
And just swing it open, easy peasy.
Good.